For the first time since being benched, Daniel Jones spoke to the media at the Giants facility, but it sounded like it'd be the last time he spoke to the Giants media at their facility because he pretty much said goodbye, and it sounds like the end of his time as a New York Giant could be coming to a close. On today's video, we're going to give you quote for quote of what Daniel Jones said to the media in his prepared statement, and we're going to go through the highlights of Daniel Jones's career as a member of the New York Football Giants. But first, show him some love. Whether you're a fan of Daniel Jones, whether you were a part of the team that wanted Daniel Jones benched years ago and to never sign that contract extension, I understand both sides. I'm someone that can empathize with the situation Daniel Jones is in, even though I didn't think he was the answer for the Giants at the quarterback position. The guy's time as the quarterback here has come to a close, and it was a little bit emotional for me today. So show him some love. Type those 8s down below. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. We'll go through the top 5 Daniel Jones moments as a Giant coming up in a second. But I just wanted to read you what he read to the Giants media as he read off an iPhone, it looked like, as he prepared what seemed like his final statement to the Giants media members, saying, quote, "The opportunity to play for the New York Giants was truly a dream come true, and I'm extremely grateful to the Mara and Tisch families for the chance to play here. The Giants are truly a first-class organization, and I have nothing but genuine respect and appreciation for the people who have built it and who helped carry on that tradition. I've met so many special people and created relationships that will truly last a lifetime. Thank you to all my teammates, coaches, and staff that have done so much for me these past 6 years. There have been some great times, but of course, we all wish there had been more of those. I take full responsibility for my part in not bringing more wins here. No one wanted to win games worse than me, and I gave everything I had on the field and in my preparation. Of course, this season has been disappointing for all, and of course, I wish I could have done more. I'm 100% accountable for my part. I did not play well enough consistently enough to help the team get the results. The reality of the NFL is that it's hard to win games and requires consistent performance from everyone involved. We didn't do that well enough. So the idea to change something happens, and I understand it. I love the game. I love being a part of a team. I'm excited for the next opportunity. I know that there's a lot of good football in front of me, and I'm excited for that. To all the fans, I have deep respect and appreciation for your passion and love for the Giants. The fans are a huge part of what makes playing for the Giants so special." Salute to Daniel Jones. Look, whether you're a fan, whether you're not, whether you don't think he is a good quarterback, whether you thought he was a bad quarterback, it's hard to not at least have a lot of respect for Daniel Jones and have a lot of respect for the way he carried himself when he was the franchise quarterback for this football team. DJ gave everything to this organization. He was never short on effort. There was never not a moment where he was not prepared. He put his body on the line time and time again. Had a bad neck injury. Tore his ACL. Had another bad neck injury. Played through a nasty ankle injury. Time and time again, he fought through pain to put on that New York Giants jersey with pride and go out there and do the best he could for the organization and the fan base. Never a question mark of what he had left in the tank after a game, because there was always nothing, because he always left it out 100% on the field. And I will always appreciate that and the energy and effort and class that Daniel Jones showed as a New York Giant. When you talk about the way he handled himself in the media, a class act. When you talk about the way he handled himself as a teammate, class act. It was always me. I didn't do enough. I got to be better. I will always respect Daniel Jones for that. And Jones was emotional towards the end of that presser, and rightfully so. He was asked about what does it mean to have the respect and have teammates like Dexter Lawrence and Darius Slayton stand up for you saying you shouldn't have been benched and you were the best guy for the job and you should still have that job. And he said it meant a lot to him. And you could start to hear his voice crack and you could see his eyes fill with tears. And that's when it kind of hit me. Look, I don't think Daniel Jones is a good quarterback. I think the Giants absolutely made the right decision. But I can empathize with that a man is seeing the end of his dream come to a close. I'm a human too, and I feel bad for Daniel Jones for that part of it. He's going to have a career going forward, and I think he might have some success somewhere as maybe a backup quarterback or maybe a starting quarterback in some capacity. Daniel Jones did say the injury guarantee was a part of the reason that Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen elected to bench him. He said that he and his agents were in constant communication with Joe, and they said that was the decision that they came to, that it just wasn't going to be where you could play anymore. He was asked about waiving his injury guarantee. He didn't really give an answer on that. He said, I wanted to be out there. I want to play. I want to continue to be a New York Giant. I want to continue to try to win games for this team. He said he would have done whatever he could have done to where it would have been fair for both sides. It didn't seem like he was willing to waive the injury guarantee. It also sounds like Daniel Jones is weighing his options with the Giants. That being A, stick with them right now. B, go home for the remainder of the season like Derek Carr did with the Las Vegas Raiders when he was benched with his injury guarantee. And he even fielded a question where he was pretty much asked, would you ask for your release? He said he is weighing all of those options. And Daniel Jones could be cut by the Giants right now. The Giants could cut Daniel Jones right now. Whether you cut him now, in a week, 2 weeks, at the end of the season, before free agency, or after the draft, as long as it's prior to June 1st, it'll be the same implications on the salary cap, which is $19.3 million in salary cap relief with a $22 million dead cap hit staying on the Giants' salary cap sheet. The Giants could cut Daniel Jones right now. And it sounds like that's the road we're starting to walk down. At practice on Wednesday, it was a walkthrough. At least a portion of it was a walkthrough. We already know Daniel Jones is QB4 on the roster. DeVito, Locke, Tim Boyle, and then Daniel Jones. And then during a walkthrough where the defense was giving a look for the starting offense, Daniel Jones was in a stationary position where a safety would line up. Just cut him. Just send him home. Don't have him come to the facility anymore. Don't have him. The word I want to use is distraction. That's probably not the right word to use. But just with the most respect possible, let's just eliminate Daniel Jones from this environment. There's no reason for him to come to work, naturally going to drag, naturally going to go through the motions, and have him line up as a strong safety in a walkthrough. You're wasting your time. You're wasting his time. And he has earned, maybe not through his play, but everything else for the Giants to do right by him. And I think they should cut him. Look, I hope nothing but the best for Daniel Jones. I am someone that for the past 24 months, past 20 months, did not believe that he was the answer. I believe that he was also a part of the problem. And I did not think he was going to be the solution, and he was not the franchise quarterback for the Giants. But he was also the quarterback of my favorite team for 6 years, and he had a lot of awesome moments. A lot may be a stretch. There were 5 standout moments for me that we're going to talk about on today's show. 5 moments where I was like, you know what? I'm happy this dude is my franchise quarterback. And look, some of these games I watched with my dad, and some of these games I watched here, and they're always going to be lifelong memories, and I think it'll be the same for a lot of Giants fans out there. So if you want to stick around, we'll go through the top 5 Daniel Jones moments of his career. But first, I got to give a major shout-out to today's sponsor, our proud sportsbook partner, and that is DraftKings. The Emirates NBA Cup is here. You can win big getting in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All 30 teams split into 6 groups every Tuesday and Friday playing for the right to advance in the single elimination in-season tourney, culminating in the NBA Cup Championship in Vegas. First time, here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code NIXCHAT. That's code NIXCHAT for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/BBALL.
Shout out to DraftKings, our proud sportsbook partner. Smitty Slate for Week 12. You guys have been watching the channel. You guys have seen these picks already. But I took them early in the week. Lines and odds, subject to change on DraftKings. I got some Road Warriors. Bucks -5 at the Giants. I don't know, maybe DeVito might shut me up. Pats +7 at the Dolphins. Feels like too big of a spread for a divisional matchup. And the Chiefs are going to get right, -10.5 at the Carolina Panthers. Fade me, tail me. Just do it at DraftKings and use code NIXCHAT.
Shout out to DraftKings. All that information will be clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. All righty, with an end of an era here and Daniel Jones most likely not going to be a part of the Giants for much longer, we could really put a bow on his career. We've seen every bit of it unfold, and we've been a part of a lot of them here on this channel. I'm not going to rank these in order. I'm going to go from the beginning of his career to the end of his career. And maybe his first start was his best moment as a New York Giant. That first start against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he brings the Giants back when they were down all the way, 28-10. And they come back to win that game 32-31. The way they won it was on the back of Jones. The first play out of halftime, he hits Evan Ingram and he goes 80 yards to the house. And the Giants start to build that comeback. It was awesome. And he capped it off in a beautiful way. An opportunity in a game-winning drive on the line as it's 4th and 5 with just over a minute to go. Giants down by 6. And on 4th and 5, we saw Danny Dimes, a.k.a. at that moment, Vanilla Vic, a tuck and run QB draw, walks into the end zone untouched. You see the picture on screen, and the Giants go on to end and win that game with a PAT 32-31. I remember where I was, who I was watching with, and how excited I was saying, you know what? The Giants, they have a franchise quarterback now on their football team. And honestly, that rookie year, outside of the year where the Giants went to the playoffs and beat the Vikings, you could argue that was his best statistical year. Complete 62% of his passes. Was throwing the ball downfield. 11 yards almost per catch. Throws for over 3,000 yards in 12 games. 24 passing touchdowns. And he rushed for 2 touchdowns. 24 total touchdowns for him in his rookie year. And it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. It put a lot of excitement into me, I know, at the time, and in this fan base as well. Unfortunately, that wasn't the Daniel Jones that we would grow to know, love, and maybe sometimes be very disgusted with. That 2021 win versus the New Orleans Saints, though, was a game where at that time I was working here at Chat Sports, and there's a post-game video somewhere out there. You can go watch it. I remember saying in that video, from this moment and this moment on, I'm going to support Daniel Jones, and I'm going to believe in him as the franchise quarterback for the Giants because he went out and looked like a franchise quarterback in that ball game. 28 of 40, completes 70% of his passes, 402 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns. The Giants were down 21-10 in that fourth quarter. They come all the way back. Remember the go route to Barkley on the left sideline in the fourth quarter? He ran it in for 2. Daniel Jones did to make it 21-18. The last second drive in the fourth quarter that ended up in a field goal to go to overtime. Then back-to-back big-time catches by John Ross in overtime. And the big 3rd and 5 to Kenny Golladay to go from the 30 to the 5. And Saquon Barkley finishes off that drive. That was one of those games and really one of the first times outside his rookie year you were like, we've got a leader. It was his first big-time fourth quarter comeback, and you really started to drink the Daniel Jones Kool-Aid. At least I did. I also think that the entire 2022 regular season deserves to be on here. That was my 4th favorite season watching this team play. I'll go with the 2 Super Bowl seasons. I'll then go with, I believe it was the 2016 season when the Giants got to the playoffs. Watched every game with my dad in the garage, the Odell Beckham team. It was just awesome. You played defense, then Odell won the game. But then it was 2022, and we got to experience every moment of that here on this channel. What about that week 1 win against the Tennessee Titans? A 13-point comeback. The big-time play to Sterling Shepard. You put together a game-winning drive, and you go for 2, where Big Balls Dable was born. The little shovel pass to Saquon Barkley. They end up missing the field goal at the end of the game. The Giants seal the win. And that watch party was special to me. It was my first watch party we ever did here, the first Giants game I ever called. And that one was a lot of fun. What about the week 5 win against Green Bay? I don't remember where they played. I think it was Germany, somewhere overseas. 10-point comeback against Aaron Rodgers. What about the 92-yard drive in the second half without Saquon Barkley? He's hurt. You got Marcus Johnson out there. You got people that are no longer in the NFL as a supporting cast. Marcus Johnson, Richie James out there with just a crew of cats. And Daniel Jones takes some 92 yards with Matt Breida in the backfield to go score and put you on top. That win was a lot of fun. Then the very next week, and that was the win where I was like, all right, this team might actually be for real. This Giants team might actually have some juice. Then you come back at home and you beat Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. The first loss that Action Jackson has suffered, and the only loss against an NFC team. A 10-point fourth quarter comeback in that one. You score 14 fourth quarter points, and probably the biggest staple regular season win for Daniel Jones, beating Lamar Jackson. An awesome, awesome moment. And then week 14, Sunday Night Football, a must-win game. If you lose that game, you're essentially out of the playoff race. And it wasn't a sexy stat line for Daniel Jones, but he did just enough to get the win in a huge spot. His first primetime win. His only primetime win. I remember Kayvon Thibodeau saying it. Primetime, I don't like primetime. Primetime likes me. And in that game, primetime, I like Daniel Jones. You got to win under the bright lights. And then week 17, you punch your tickets to the playoffs. You are awesome on the ground. You throw 2 touchdowns in. You run 2 touchdowns in. You throw for 177 yards. You run for another 91 yards. MetLife Stadium is on their feet. It is rocking. Producer Smitty was in attendance for that game, also known as the Landon Collins return game, the pick 6. But I remember like it was yesterday. Daniel Jones, helmet off, walking through the tunnel, off the turf at MetLife. And everyone's on their feet. A young Smitty in the stands giving a standing ovation to Daniel Jones. That's when it started to feel like, you know what, this is the guy. And then the cherry on top, the playoff win versus Minnesota. Outside of the Super Bowls, maybe the most fun I have ever had watching a Giant game. And we did it here on this channel. It was awesome. He looked amazing. It was the best game a Giants quarterback has played since Eli Manning. I know it's not saying much, but, man, 24-35, 301 passing yards, threw 2 touchdowns, ran for another 78 yards on the ground. First player in NFL history with 300-plus passing yards, 2-plus passing TDs, and 70-plus rushing yards in a playoff game and a playoff win. And this wasn't like most of the 2022 season where he was dinking and he was dunking and guys were wide open and he was taking what the defense was giving him. He was taking shots. The bang 8 to Isaiah Hodgins. It was about rolling out to the pocket to the left, throwing across his body on the sideline, dime piece here. Big time throw after big time throw in that ball game. That was the reason he got paid. That was the reason that a lot of us were okay with him getting paid. And that might have also been the reason the Giants have been set back where they are. Last game I want to talk about was the 2023 win versus Arizona. That was really the last time that I thought DJ brought a lot of people hope and a lot of people life. And that was the one where people were like, you know what? The contract was validated. A huge comeback in that one for the New York Giants. They were down 28-7 with nine minutes left in the third quarter. A 21-point comeback. That was when we saw Jalen Hyatt, and we thought, oh, man, this guy might be special. 2 deep throws to Hyatt. He was the gas of the tank of the Giants' offense. You have a game-winning drive that results in a field goal, 3 total touchdowns. You throw for you run for 59 yards. You look good. You throw for 320 yards. You're throwing for bomb after bomb after bomb. And you're like, man, that was a lot of fun. But that was really the last time that we got to see DJ uncork it and play with some fun. Look, we all wish there were more of these moments. Daniel Jones wishes there was more. Everybody does. And you're not always going to win a Super Bowl. Only one team wins a Super Bowl. And would I consider the Daniel Jones tenure a success? No. Would I consider it a failure? No. You drafted a quarterback in the top 10 and he won you a playoff game. I'm sure there's a lot of quarterbacks that were selected in the top 10 that didn't win you a playoff game. But ultimately, he didn't get you number 5. And ultimately, he's probably going to be cut, and he will for sure never play another down for the New York Giants. So I just want to say thank you to DJ. Look, I've gone at you. I've said probably things gone too far at times. But I always respect your work ethic. I respect the grit, the grind, and the way you represented yourself as a very, very classy individual. Shout out to you, Mr. Daniel Jones. I hope the best for you going forward. Show him some love. One last time. Type those 8s for your guy, DJ. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up over there, and let's go Big Blue.